Welcome everyone. My name is Sanya. I am the co-founder of Radius. Radius is hosting Tuesday Talks every other Tuesday. And we are super excited to welcome Marissa Boyle. She is a sales coach. She's based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She is a broker owner. And she does a lot of these presentations and she has a lot of topics, but this is something that stood out to me right away. It's something we all deal with. There's only so much time and a lot more to do. So before Marissa gets into her presentation, I just wanted to give you a quick intro on what Radius is, what we do, and then I'm going to let Marissa take over. So Radius has been around since 2015. I know a lot of you are engaged users of our community, and we are super grateful and thankful for that. We have about 70,000 agents on our community that are on there to ask questions, to attend events like these, to really form a community with like-minded professionals. Radius does allow you to exchange referrals across markets. So go ahead, find an agent in Radius whenever you have a referral need, and send that out into the community and see what agent can help you and how you can get compensated for it. 2 years ago, we launched Radius Assist, which is the third thing you see here. If you are generating any type of online leads, or you have a database that needs to get called, that needs to get texted. Radius Assist is an ISA concierge team. Our entire team is based out of Denver, Colorado. And there are trained professionals who want to set up appointments for you, who will act as your assistant, and really use the scripts that you want us to use. So that's Radius Assist. And then late last year, we launched Radius Agent Realty, which is a brokerage in the California and Colorado regions. And we are focused on helping our agents build their personal brand. That's our focus. We believe that agents are the true blood of the business, and we want to be supportive in any way we can. We are right now in Colorado and California. You will see a few other states highlighted here. These are the states that we're looking to expand into. If you know anyone in any of these states, or you are in any of these states, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to tell you how we'd like to help you build your business. And before I give it off to Marissa, Radius Agents Summit is next week on February 25th on Thursday. If you have not registered already, please register. It's 13 speakers, 5 different sessions in honor of Black History Month. We're digging into a lot of important topics such as why diversity matters. And we're doing this in partnership with NAREP San Ramon Valley. So you're going to see just a lot of incredible sessions from some top producers. These are some of our sessions, and I'll leave this slide up at the end as well so you can take a look, but I will not take more of your time before I get Marissa in. So Marissa, take it away. Stopping share.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody that's on here. I appreciate all the Charlotte, North Carolina folks and people that know me showing up, and very happy. Thank you, Sonia and Radius, for allowing me to be here. Calendar, time blocking, pretty much one of my absolute favorite topics, because I got into the real estate business in 2008. I came from working as a hedge fund analyst. So I was told when to be in the office, when to leave. And so then showing up into the real estate world where I was completely in charge of my schedule and when I did things, it was a disaster when I first started. So it took me honestly about 5 years to really get good at calendar, time blocking, and just making sure that I had everything dialed in. And so what I have one big goal for today, and that is to show you some 3 main techniques that I use. One is win the day, the other is brain dumping, and the third is calendar and time blocking. And I want you to feel empowered to take charge of your schedule and then use some of these skills to give yourself hours back in the day. So that is a huge, huge thing for me. So when you think of why would I spend time on calendar and time blocking, it's because you either want to do more with the hours you have, or you want to make the same money and work less hours. So either direction, these are very tangible skills. And I want you to leave this webinar with those today. So you can feel free as we're going to chat in with any questions. I love interaction. So if you've got questions, go ahead and just put them in and I'll make sure to go over those for you. Other thing I want to cover kind of real quick, when you accept coaching from somebody, you always want to consider the source of who this human being is and why you should listen to them. So I'll just give you a little bit of background on me. So like I said, I have a degree in financial math and stats. I was a hedge fund analyst In 2008, I moved from Santa Barbara to Charlotte, North Carolina to specifically get into buying distressed real estate. So that was my first kind of foray into it. And that fund, we ended up buying 2,500 rental properties in Charlotte, Tampa, Orlando, a few other markets, and sold that to a publicly traded REIT. Then I went on to start flipping properties. So I flipped about 50 properties. Then I started my own boutique brokerage, operated that. So we did about 50 million in volume with 6 agents every year. Then I sold that about 2 years ago to one of the agents on the team. During that time, did luxury home sales, launched my coaching business, and then also did a lot of corporate relo. So I just bring all this stuff up because I want you to know I've been in your shoes. I am in your shoes. I understand what some of this stuff takes. So definitely glad to be here. Glad that you guys are all on, and I'm gonna start doing a screen share. And like I said, chat in if you've got questions. So guys, always when I do these trainings, kind of want to start with the end in mind, right? So what's next? So you stay on here, we're on here for, 45 minutes to an hour. I want you guys leaving and knowing what to do next without me, okay? So I'm gonna leave you with the brain dumping worksheet, and that's a link to it. I'm gonna leave you with the time blocking worksheet. If you want more, you can also take my Decoded 100K in 100 Days, which is my program that I take agents with no sales experience to 100K in gross commission income. I do one-on-one coaching, and then there's also private Facebook group and some social media. So what I want to show you here too, guys, is first tip. So I want you guys having pen and paper out as we're doing this so you can write some stuff down. So script to get a grip. This is the number one thing I want agents doing is you are in control of your calendar. So you are going to tell people, what times work for you. And you're going to know this because you will have them blocked on your calendar. And I call this the script to get a grip. So it goes like this. I already have an appointment at that time. Does Monday at 2 p.m. work for you instead? And what this does for you is it immediately puts you into control of what you're doing and where you're going with your schedule. So this by far, hands down, is the number one script I want you guys memorizing. And you'll also notice with me, scripts I treat as sentences. So I definitely don't want you guys, yep, you can definitely have I just saw a chat. You can definitely get a copy of this. I'll text it into the chat. What I want you guys remembering is this one script. So I want you guys to say it right now as we're sitting here together. So I already have an appointment at that time. Does Monday at 2 p.m. work for you instead? So I already have an appointment at that time. Does Monday at 2 p.m. work for you instead? So again, I don't care what that appointment is, whether it's taking the kids to school, getting your nails done, Netflix and chill, doesn't matter. You are in charge of your schedule. And this is the best script to get you feeling like you're in charge of that, okay? So you can follow me on social media. I make little tips like this. The other thing too is private coaching page. So every single Monday I post this. So this is gonna be, how do you start your day, right? Everybody's read kind of Miracle Morning. They know that you need to have a morning routine. So I have a couple techniques that really will help you get going into where you need to be mindset wise. So I'm also big into, you can't show up, 100% as this real estate agent unless you're kind of firing on all cylinders. And I mean spirituality, health, physical health, your wealth, all of that stuff. So if you want reminders of kind of how to stack your day, happy to provide those for you. So I always start with, I call this the jar of awesome. So I suggest you guys all get these little jars, whatever you think is pretty. And what you do here is every morning you write down something awesome, personal or professional, and you put it in your jar. And what you do with that is kind of when you're having a down or rough day, get into your jar, remind yourself, okay? So a lot of this is getting yourself into that right mindset to show up as an agent, okay? The other one is something for resilience, and I call it the bucket. So also literally get yourself a bucket, and anything that happens in real estate, You know, if it's bad, write it down. I say give it a 60-second funeral, chuck it in the bucket and roll on. And so what that does for you is, guys, we get beat up as agents, and it's okay. You know, it's just something that happens. I can think of one example that just happened. It was a 31 home package deal for an investor, and the buyer's agent couldn't get the listing agent to call them back. And this was about an $8 million deal. And so that's just kind of something where it's like, okay, these things happen. You know, another one I think that came up for somebody recently I heard was they forgot to register a client with new home construction, and, you know, they didn't get paid on it. So those are things like, again, make sure you're good with like, what are the good things that are happening, put those in your jar of awesome. And then anything, again, that you need some resilience on, write it down, put it in the bucket and roll on. The other piece of starting your day is win the day, setting the intention. I'm going to get into that in just a second. Reviewing your money metrics, and then leading with revenue. And I'm going to give you some hacks on leading with revenue and give you those 5 daily jobs of an agent, because each of those is revenue generating. Okay, that sound good? Anybody have any comments? You can chat in. Let's see. So intention setting. So I shared with you what my intention for this webinar is, right? And that is to empower each of you with the tools and the resources to be able to go ahead and calendar and time block and get in control. So the very first habit that I want you guys writing down is, what is my intention for the day? And so I also call this win the day. So every single day before you get into emails and text and phone calls, I want you to really kind of think like, what is the one thing that I can do today that moves my business forward? Okay. And that could be something as simple as, I need to call that for sale by owner back. It could be something as big as, I need to call that CEO that's, you know, relocating their headquarters so I can earn that business. Okay. So anything that you think that moves your business forward, you pick one thing every single day. And the concept with that is, if you win enough days, you win the weeks. If you win enough weeks, you win the months. If you win enough months, you win the quarters. If you win enough quarters, you win the years. And once you're able to really get into that winning mindset, it has a very, very strong momentum for you. Okay. So I want you guys all get your piece of paper and your pen out and write down what exactly your intention is for today. So my intention, so I write win the day on my notes. I got notes right here. So I write win the day. What is my win the day? And so we've got, Elise wanted me to repeat some wins. So win the day could be, I need to call that FSBO back. A win the day is, I need to call, you know, that CEO that's relocating their company headquarters here. Win the day could be, I need to finally go to, you know, certified luxury home marketing specialist and set up that designation because I want to increase my price point. Okay. Does that make sense? So really, really sit there and think to yourself, I need to win the day every single day. And it will really get you into this momentum of winning. Okay. What do we got? So Nelvia, hello Nelvia. She says, my win the day is getting this custom home under contract and figured out today. Perfect. Yep. So every day, guys, that is really a winner leader mindset thing to do. You will do other things during the day. However, it is that one thing that you self-selected business-wise, that I am going to do this one thing, and that means I have won the entire day and I have moved my business forward. Okay. So that's very much an important technique for you guys all to get started. Okay. And then to get yourself into that mindset, start with your jar of awesome. If you've got anything you need to let go of, put it in the bucket. Okay. All right, Karen, you're going to scrub your database. I love that. I would get really specific about these too. So scrub your database is great. How many, you know, are you going to go through 10 of your leads? Are you going to go through 20 of your leads? I would make it very specific, right? I'm going to go through 20 leads and I'm going to rank them A, B, and C. Okay. I like that. Yeah, you guys are chatting in some great things. So again, I love it. You guys get this concept, win the day, set your intention. Every day you put a flag in the ground and say, I am going to do this one thing. I'm going to win the day and I'm going to move my business forward. Okay. And then to really, a lot of you, if you're struggling with this calendar and time blocking thing, put 20 minutes, my win the day is I'm going to spend 20 minutes getting control of my calendar and my time blocks. Okay. All right, guys. So next up, so that is technique 1 of 3 that I talked about. So win the day is technique 1. Okay, next up is brain dumping. So I'm going to talk about brain dumping. Share my screen again. Okay, and so these worksheets, again, I'll send you the link to them. So what a brain dump is, guys. So I hear a lot of agents say, I'm overwhelmed, there's too much going on. I don't know what to do. I'm not organized. And that's okay too, right? Like these are all like completely normal human emotions. Everybody goes through it. So I would say give yourself some space and some grace to kind of feel through that and really use this worksheet as a thing to kind of get yourself under control again. Okay. So I want you guys all grabbing a pen and paper, and I'm going to walk you through. There are 3 steps to this brain dump. So step 1 is write down everything that's just floating in your mind. So this is anything that's taking up brain space. It can include family, yourself, business. I've seen people write down, I need to schedule that doctor's appointment. I need to, set up the cake for my daughter's birthday party. I need to get that closing scheduled. I need to get my car washed. If you're one of those agents that has like the messy car and MLS sheets kind of spread all over the place and other things printed out, like getting that vehicle cleaned up is probably a good idea for you. So what I want you guys to do right now, get your pen out and I'm going to give you guys 1 minute literally, and I want you guys, and what we're doing here is I want you to practice this stuff. So again, my goal is to empower you to be able to do this stuff on your own without me. So step 1 of a brain dump, literally guys, I'm looking at the clock and I'm going to give you 1 minute and I want you to just write out anything that's on your mind that you haven't done or needs to get done. Okay. And chat in if you've got any questions while we're going. Probably play some Jeopardy music for you guys while you're doing this. So keep writing as we're going. This is something, if you are having any sort of feelings of overwhelm or not knowing where you need to go with your life and your business, this is the first place I have people start. Is just get all of this stuff out of your head, written down onto a piece of paper. Okay. So then, great. Now we've got a list of everything that's just been kind of floating around in our brains. So what do we do next? Okay, so this stuff is important. So you're going to want to kind of decide like what must I do, okay, to create success and fulfillment in my life. And again, that is different for each and every single one of you. What I want you to do though is with this list is I want you to create kind of a list of categories for your life and what needs to be done. And this is going to go direct into technique 3, which is that calendar and time block. So once you have categories for these pieces of your life, so I gave you some examples like client appointments, family time, self-care, workout, lead generation. Categorize them for yourself. And that's going to be, you're going to translate that into your calendar in step 3 that we go over. So once that's, you've kind of created some categories. If you want a really basic way to do it right now, just do personal, professional. Okay. If you want to get like way basic with it. Next up is I want to give you guys about 1 minute to just prioritize the list. And so there's two ways to do this. So anything on that list that's going to take 2 minutes or less, I want you to put a circle next to it. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to put a big checkbox through it when you do it. So anything that's going to take you 2 minutes or less, I need you to do it like immediately when we get off this webinar. Like just get it out of your head, get it done. Another example on that is, a doctor's appointment, right? If you've just been delaying making an appointment, can you please just do that right after the webinar? Again, you're getting this out of your brain so you can show up as a complete human for your clients, okay? Next up, not everything is urgent and important. So we need to rank, like of this list. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to do this again. So you're gonna take anything that will take you 2 minutes or less, you put a circle next to it. And then the rest of the items, what I want you to do there is rank. So like what is on this list based on, my life, what is number one? And then what is the number two thing I need to get done? So we're gonna prioritize those. I'll tell you, one of my mentors was the first hedge fund manager I ever worked for. He really taught me this 2 minute habit where it's, if you can get something done in 2 minutes or less, do it right now. And I can't tell you, that's just made me so efficient in my life and my business. So again, give you guys 1 minute right now, put a circle next to anything that will take you 2 minutes or less. And then the rest of the list you just wrote out, rank it, right? Number one, got to get this done. Number two, number three. Okay, and chat in if you got questions while you're doing it. we've got a checklist lover in the group. I'm a checklist person too. I'll give you guys about 30 more seconds to get that list ranked and prioritized. Yeah, at least so step one for brain dump is write down anything that's in your brain that is just kind of getting you stuck. Like, oh, I need to go do this. I forgot to do that. I need to make a doctor's appointment. I need to call that FSBO back. I need to, order the cake for my daughter's birthday party. I need to send the sympathy card. I need to order flowers for this person. I need to call, whatever it is, personal, professional, that's just swimming around in your brain, write it down. That's step one. And then step two, what you guys are doing right now is prioritizing. So anything that will take you 2 minutes or less, circle by it because you're just going to check it off and do it as soon as we get off this webinar. And then the next step, you're going to rank what's the most important thing on that list to do, second most important thing. Okay. Then we've got a question. Do you start the day with a new list? I do this once a week. So if you're in a super kind of overwhelmed state, yeah, I would absolutely do this. I would do this once a day. Once you kind of get into a habit, usually it's a Monday morning activity that I do. All right, well, you guys are finishing that up. Somebody asked, what do you do with the items in the bucket? So if it gets filled up too much, I like to actually go light them on fire and, in a safe area and release it to the universe and just kind of thank the universe, please go away now. Moving on. Okay, guys. So we have written that down. This is a great technique to kind of calm you down and prioritize. So we've got our list. We've got everything categorized to, yeah, what do we got here? So I said, somebody likes to do this 3 times a week. The brain dump method has helped me a ton. I tend to make mountains out of molehills. Yeah, thanks for the tip. So again, guys, this will help you to like, what if it's in your brain and in your heart, it's just kind of like, it's just stuck there. So getting it out, ranking, prioritizing, categorizing will really, really help you with that. So now that we've got the list going on, so now it's time to put it onto our calendar. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat. My goal for this is to empower you guys, give you the tools and techniques to use after we get off this webinar to continue to get yourself moving in the right direction with organization, calendar, time blocking. So step one was always put your flag in the ground, select your win the day. What is this one thing that I, Marissa Boyle, must accomplish today to win the day? And it really sets you on that path of momentum of moving your business forward, okay? Second step is if you're feeling overwhelmed or have a lot going on, sit down 5 minutes, do a brain dump, just anything and everything, personal, professional, whatever is in your brain, write it down, decide which category it fits into. Then if there's anything on that list that takes 2 minutes or less, you do it immediately after you're done with the when you're done writing your list. And then everything else, you've got to rank it and prioritize it. What is number one? What is number two? What is number three, etc. I don't know. Some of you have probably 3 things. Some of you probably have 30. So also you just prioritize that stuff. Okay. And so we have sorted all of this stuff out. So now we're going to get moving into getting it scheduled on the calendar and some techniques there. So if anybody has any questions about the brain dump or how to do that, let me know. But I'm going to switch over to the calendar. So yeah, Kelly just asked, do you rank them within the categories? I do. Because not everything can be a priority, right? So you have to decide, okay, professionally, what are my priorities? Personally, what are my priorities? And I'll equate this to lead generation with agents. I see a lot of them, you know, my personal opinion is you talk to any top producing agent throughout the country and they will have 2, maybe 3 tops lead generation sources that they go after. Number 1 is always going to be past clients and their sphere of influence. And then 2 and 3 varies so wildly that it's just hard to predict. So in real estate, there are literally thousands and thousands of ways to generate leads and they all work. And the real discipline with each agent is to decide what are my top 3 sources of leads and forget about, you know, Bob said he's making a ton of money off Zillow. And then, you know, Karen said she's getting great success with FSBOs. And then Marissa said open houses are where it's at. So you really, these calendar organization techniques too are to kind of put the blinders on, put the earmuffs on, and know kind of like in your head and heart what works for you in your business, okay? So yes, we're definitely ranking within there. And we are going to, yep, Dana, we are gonna switch over to the calendar. Let me see here. What do we got? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys this example of a calendar and kind of talk through what that's going to look like for you. So before we got one question, do you have any apps or certain methods using the iPhone to help remind, structure, encourage habit forming, time blocking, making prioritized lists, or do you just use a standard calendar app? Okay, so that's another one, guys. I want you using what works for you. So if for me personally, it is Google Calendar, and I like that because it's on my phone. If my computer goes down or my cell phone goes down, all I have to do is get a new one and log into it. So I like that it's there for me. I am neurotic when it comes to my calendar. I find that there is a lot of freedom in that because I know without a shadow of a doubt, I've done everything I need to do and my day is over, right? So I never have a question in my mind when I've ended the day. Is there something that I should have been doing that day? Okay. Oh, Dana, you're having trouble. Can you guys see the calendar? Should be a calendar that's color coded. Let me know. So no. All right. Thanks for the heads up on that. How about now? How are we doing? Back on. Yeah. Sonia and I were joking about this. It's just like, come on. It's like we're almost a year later into all these Zoom webinars and everything. And it's like, still can't get still getting trouble with the tech and the screen share. Okay, cool. Glad you guys can see this. So get neurotic about what you put on your calendar. So I want you putting everything personally and professional. So if you'll see, again, I want you guys you guys can have these handouts, and I want you thinking about this too. So where am I going to store this information? So that was a great question that comes up all the time. I want you storing this information wherever you're going to look at it and use it. I told you, me personally, I use Google Calendar. I gave you the example of agents and lead generation and how they shiny object and squirrel. Don't do that. Figure out what works for you and your business. Okay. I explained I like Google Calendar simply because it lives with me on my phone, on my computer. If my computer or my phone dies or gets lost or broken, all I have to do is get a new one, log back in, and all my information is right where I need it to be. Okay. So some of you guys are paper calendar people. God bless you on that. I think I would lose that if I had that. So not a choice I would make personally, but if that's a choice that works for you, keep going with it. Okay. So we did our first step, right? Picked our win the day, our intention. We got out of our brain everything that needs to happen. We kind of also set our mind right with the jar and the bucket. Now it's like, okay, I need to transfer all of this onto my calendar. Okay. So again, I'm going to give you a quick 3-step process of what that's going to look like. And number one is schedule all of your personal time first. So we are service-based professionals. Agents give and give and give. Okay. We are constantly giving our time, our resources, our energy, our love, everything, right? We are giving it out. So I really emphasize this point that the number one thing you put on your calendar is your personal time. Okay. And so that's time with your family, working out, if you go to church, whatever it is, I want that on your calendar first. Okay. So I get asked a lot too, Marissa, do you have 2 different calendars, one for work, one for personal life? I don't. I like to keep, it's all, I kind of think of it, it's like, it's all my life and I want to see it all in one place because work decisions affect personal life and personal life affects work decisions. Okay. So again, I like it all one calendar to be able to see everything at once. Okay. So please, please, please make time for yourself, for your family, whoever, whoever needs you and you need you the most. I need that on your calendar first. Okay. Next is schedule any items with set times. So these things would be, and I'm going to go through this calendar with you, but it would be things like appointments, right? So if you know you're going to do buyer consultations or listing presentations, I want you to say like, okay, I have these time blocks for listing presentations. So I've got 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. If people need evening appointments, I can do that Wednesdays at 7. So again, that first kind of social media slide I showed you with that script, I already have an appointment during that time. Will Wednesday at 7 p.m. work better for you? Because I always want you leading with your own time slots that work best for you. And the only way you'll know which time slots work best for you is if you spend this time to actually figure out what are priorities for you and get them onto your calendar. And again, I want to reiterate, why do we even spend time with this? It's because, you don't want to be that agent that comes like I'm flying through the door, like sunglasses still on, like hair's on fire on their phone. Okay, that's not a good look, right? You want to be calm, grounded, the consummate professional. People are trusting us with the largest financial transaction of their lives. So it's kind of like, please also have your life together and organized if you're going to help me with mine. This is how I view that. So why do we do this? It's so you know what's going on, you know what's a yes, and you know what's a no when somebody asks you. Okay. So again, there's a lot of freedom in the discipline of following a calendar. And what I mean by that is you will know when your day is done. Because I also see a lot of agents, they're just frazzled and they're like, they're going to sleep at night and it's just like, bing, they're just like up and out of bed because they're like, oh, I forgot to call Sally back. Oh, I forgot to do this. I need to do that. So that type of stuff goes away and makes you a better human and person and agent when you are able to use your calendar and some of these brain dumping win the day techniques. Okay. So again, I just like to give you guys the why, like why bother with this stuff? Because it gives you freedom. There's extreme amounts of freedom in the discipline of following a calendar. Okay, so we've scheduled our personal items. We have scheduled any items with set times. And then next, simplest thing in the world, we're gonna lead with revenue. So how do we know if we're leading with revenue? Well, it's like, basically, if it makes you money, do it first. So I'm gonna repeat that again. When you're looking at your business life, lead with revenue. If it makes you money, do that first, okay? And I call them the money metrics, if you've ever done any coaching with me. And what those are your number of hot leads, right? It is your number of appointments. It's your number of agency agreements. It's your number of under contracts or open escrows, and your number closed. So those are your 5, I call them the 5 money metrics, right? So hot leads, appointments, agency agreements, under contracts or escrows, and closed. Those are all revenue generating activities, okay? So we're gonna lead with some of those. And then when I think to, okay, I'm an agent, what's my daily job? And these are things that are gonna need to show up on your calendar. So these are your 5 daily jobs as an agent. And those are to lead generate is number 1. To do lead follow-up is number 2. To do appointments is number 3. Number 4 is to negotiate contracts. So that could be to get it under contract, or that could be repairs and contingencies. And then number 5 is to practice your scripts. So you've already done number 5 with this webinar with me. So you practice the one, I already have an appointment during that time. How does Wednesday at 4 p.m. work for you? Okay. So again, 5 daily jobs that need to show up on your calendar are lead generate, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contracts, and practicing your scripts. Okay. So I want to see all 5 of those on your calendar. Okay. So I'm going to go back up here so you guys can check this out and just take a look at it. So your calendar is your calendar. So if you are a up and atom 5 a.m. type, your day is going to start earlier. If you are a parent and you like to do the breakfast, get the kids off to school thing, your day will probably start later. So again, guys, this is an example for you to use so you can visually see what I'm talking about when I say time block and add your money makers to your calendar. I just want you to have this example. Some techniques and things I want to point out to you is I want you theming your days. And what I mean by that is, so let's look at Tuesday. What is the theme of Tuesday? It's for sale by owners, okay? Because I don't want you, this is also kind of a time hack for you, is I don't want you going into, okay, I need to call this for sale by owner back. I need to call this referral. I need to do this open house thing. It's just like, it's too scattered. So I want you focused completely like, okay, so Tuesday, my lead gen and my lead follow-up is all about for sale by owners. And then you can see on Wednesday, it's all about expireds, okay? Something I really want to point out to you guys, if you're not taking advantage of this, you absolutely should. So Radius Assist, that's what Sonia was talking about. That's the service, it's an ISA. So ISA just stands for Inside Sales Agent. What they will do is they will call those expireds, call those FSBOs, whatever kind of lead generation you want them doing, they will call, and they also get called appointment setters. Okay. So again, you don't have to do all of these jobs, but all of these jobs do have to get done. So I will repeat that again. You do not have to be the person that does all of those daily jobs, right? Which are lead gen, lead follow-up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and practice your scripts. You don't have to be the person that does all of those. You do have to get all of those jobs done. So one of the greatest things, again, that Radius provides is allowing that Radius Assist program. You guys all have access to that, where they will call those leads and set appointments for you. So definitely check that out. Because again, your calendar, you can only have so many hours in the day. So if you're getting jammed up, figure out what you can hire out to do, okay? So This is the sample of the calendar. Building your calendar takes some time. So again, I would imagine if you don't have your calendar built out, you're going to want to pick your win the day to spend 20 minutes doing this for yourself. Again, techniques, we're going to put the personal things on there because again, you can't show up as the best agent if your personal life is a mess or you're forgetting something that you needed to do, right? You need to show up as a great spouse, mom, sister, brother, cousin, whatever it may be, friend. Make sure that you're feeling good and showing up for yourself and the people that you love. Okay. So I would always lead with your personal stuff first. Then spend time on this, guys. So we want all of those income generating activities to be on the calendar. Okay. And again, I told you what those are. As an agent, that is lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, and practice your scripts. Okay. If you're newer to the business, your schedule is going to have mostly scripts and lead generation on it. Okay. Because maybe you don't have appointments or contracts to negotiate yet. If you are a seasoned agent, you are likely going to have a majority going on appointments and negotiating contracts. Okay. So you just again, these calendars are for you. Spend the time, put all of your information in there. And this is where we started this webinar with that script. I already have an appointment during that time. I'm looking at this, does Monday at 7 or Tuesday at 4:30 work better for you? Okay. Once you have all these things in your calendar, you can, you are the one that's leading and you can ask for the appointment during that time. Okay. Other piece too, do your lead generation in the morning. The day gets away from you. As soon as you pick up your phone and your email, you're going to get lost in other people's agendas. So definitely make sure that you do your lead gen and your lead follow-up. Okay. So if you guys have some questions, go ahead and chat those in. And then I want to kind of recap what we just went over. So we've got, okay, so we've got how early is too early to lead gen? Great question. My personal experience is you want to catch people before they leave for work and either lunchtime or right when they're getting off work. So to me, that's kind of, preferably around like 8 a.m., 7:30 start time. I always find too, like people that will agree to either listing presentations or buyer consultations before they go to work in the morning are the absolute most serious buyers. What we got? So Sonia said, Google Calendar has great color coding to help us. I use different colors. Yep. Personal stuff, meetings. Yeah. So I do that too, right? So if it's a moneymaker, I put it in green. If it's personal, I pick purple. If it's a standing meeting, I put it in blue. So some techniques there. Let me see here. I want to grab this. So again, guys, what is the point of doing all of this? It's to give yourself freedom and flexibility, right? So freedom, flexibility, discipline within the calendar. Again, I'm going to turn this over to questions in just a second. I very much appreciate you guys being on here. Again, my goal was to empower you to take these tools and techniques so you can do it after this webinar and continue to do it on your own. Really show up as this calm, grounded, professional agent. And the 3 techniques, just want to remind you that we went over to do this, are win the day. So that's put your flag in the ground, set that intention. Number 2 is do a brain dump, categorize and prioritize. Number 3 is get it on your calendar. And then just steps to get your mindset right. Use your bucket and your jar, and you will be ready to go. Again, I want to remind you what I said in the beginning. This took me 5 years to kind of really get under control when I came out of like corporate America. Marissa, you show up at work at 8, you leave at this time. 5 years, guys. Okay. So give yourself some grace and some space. And this is a daily practice until you get it under control. And now I do it about once a week. Okay. So Thank you so much. And like I said, I'm going to turn it back over to Sonia and we can get into any questions that you have.
All right. Let's hear it. What questions do people have? I think one of the things that came up, Marissa, is can you recap what the money metrics are again?
Yeah, the money metrics. I love these. So if you're not tracking these guys, you need to be tracking these. So these are how you know you're making it or breaking it in real estate sales. Very black and white. Like you can't fudge these. So it's your number of hot leads, okay? Number of appointments that you're going on. And I'm going to define an appointment as the person knows ahead of time that you're coming to talk to them about buying or selling, investing in real estate. That's a mess up I see is agents will be like, oh, well, I'm meeting them for coffee. I'm like, that's nice. Do they know what you're there to talk about? So get clear in your definitions. Okay. So number of hot leads is number one, appointments number two, your agency agreement. So that's, do you have a buyer agency agreement or a listing agreement signed? So that's three. Number four is how many under contracts or escrows you have, right? And then number five is how many closings. Okay. So your 5 money metrics.
Got it. So it's anything that you're doing that's going to,
make you money.
Metrics. Those are the ones that you should focus on. Okay.
And those 5 daily jobs are what get you into those money metrics. And your calendar and time blocking and mindset is what gives you the time and the energy to do those things. So it's all very much kind of tied together.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions? You can either raise your hand. I have one hand raised here. Let me see. Lucia, do you have a question that you'd like to ask? I can allow you to talk. If you'd like to ask any questions directly to Marissa, I can definitely allow you to talk and you can ask directly. I guess the other question that I see here. Yeah. So when is it that you know that you are overwhelmed? Like, is it is it is it like no time in the day, or is it you showing late to things? Like how would you
Yeah, late. I call it real estate agent time. So people are so if you're showing up late, if you're waking up in the middle of the night or as soon as you go to bed, your head starts spinning around. It could be a physical sensation like, heart palpitations. However your body experiences stress, that's how you know you're overwhelmed.
Got it.
And then I sent you guys the link into the chat so you guys can use those worksheets for you. I really hope that you use those pretty much every day until you feel good about your schedule and calendar and time blocking.
And we'll email those out to everyone as well, so that they'll definitely have that.
Yeah.
So I think if there are any other questions, please chat in. I just wanted to recap that summit is next week. Lily is going to share that link in the chat. Summit is next week, so please definitely sign up. If you enjoyed this session, we have a lot more during that day, and every single event's goal is to provide you some value so your life is more efficient and you are able to earn more income. So promise that's the goal of the summit as well, and we're super excited to have some incredible speakers on the panel, and this is just all the sessions that are going to be on there. So please make sure to sign up and learn more. And also Lily is going to be sharing in chat a link for you to get to know more about Radius Assist, since Marissa went over that.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. I would definitely get more information on that.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. And again, if you're interested in our brokerage or any of our initiatives, please definitely reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Awesome.